Hi, everyone, and welcome to the March meeting of the Bike Walk Commission. I'm the chair, Tanner Thompson. Um, we'll do a quick informal roll call. I see Christine Biscaglia and Manny Salgado, and I just noticed Nick Pappas has joined. So we do have a quorum, it looks like. Um, so without further ado, because Christine has to leave early, Christine suggested that we move the voting on the minutes to the beginning to make sure that we have a quorum. Anybody have any issues with that? I did read through the minutes and I have one correction. Um, Anybody object to reordering the agenda like that? All right. Um, then yes, Delene, I have one correction for the minutes from last month, and that's just the spelling of Miss Joanna Zanvetter's name. She's the Director of Transportation for Norwalk Public Schools.
Yep, I can change that.
Okay. Anybody else have any feedback on the minutes? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes from last month.
I motion to approve the minutes from last month.
Nick moves to approve. Do I have a second? Christine
Second.
seconds. All in favor? Great. That's everybody. Let's move on to public comment. Do we have anybody from the public? We have a couple non-panelists. Welcome to the public who are here. We also have several panelists also who are members of the public, the regular suspects. Phil, thanks for joining. If you would like to make a comment and address the commission, now is your chance. Feel free to put your hand up, or if you can just unmute yourself and speak, that's fine too. Alrighty, hearing nothing, I'll close the public comment. But to the degree that I can, I do like to include members of the public. So if you're an attendee and you're not a panelist and you want to chime in and we're not running too far behind schedule, then put your hand up and I'll try to include you as I can. So let's move on to the next item. That's the quarterly review of the strategic plan, which is my agenda item. Before we get into that, though, I want to, as usual, thank Greg for putting the agenda together. For those of you who don't know, Greg Pacelli from TMP puts our agenda together every month. So thank you, Greg, for doing that. I'm going to share my screen with the strategic plan, and we're going to go through it because one of the things we agreed to in our strategic plan is to do a quarterly review. So this is our review for quarter one. Can everybody see my screen here? Can I get a confirmation from somebody?
Can you make it a little
Yeah.
bit? I'd like it a little bigger, please. More font heavy.
So let's
Yeah, I mean, I'm driving right now listening, so I can't read it, but I can see it.
All right, Christine, how's that?
Good.
Awesome. So, for those of you who are new, our strategic plan is really a set of goals for the year 2024. And we tried to make the goals SMART, which means specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound, to keep ourselves accountable to the goals that we set. So, we kind of bucketed them into categories. We have several categories, and every goal or in some cases, the whole category is assigned to an owner. So I'm going to follow up with the owner. Some of the owners are missing, but we will do what we can with people we have. So first of all is safe routes to school. The first goal we had was to get a safe routes to school speaker at our meeting, and Greg has already done that, so thank you, Greg. The next one is to become acquainted with the safe routes to school program. Manny, I know that you have an item on the agenda later for reporting on the education subcommittee generally, but do you want to give an update here on both this goal of becoming acquainted and specifically the goal of picking another more concrete goal from this list?
Sure. So, I will say I've missed two of the major Safe Routes to School meetings just because there was one last week with one of the persons that was from Safe Routes to School. There was a meeting regarding the potential event that we're working on with Christine and some of the other people as well. And so I'm still kind of, in the process of immersing myself in the Safe Routes to School program, but there are some connections made, and obviously, who Greg brought. I was out for like that first half of that meeting, but that's something that I'm actually actively working on is continuing to get myself acquainted. But I think I have the right people. I'm connected to the right people to get there. And then the part about sorry, I'm looking at the second portion of the
Sorry, no, I'm in the way.
No worry, you're good. Walk, bike, roll to school day event. I think one of the things that came out of that last meeting in our subcommittee that we had is the I don't want to call it the bike rodeo, but it's like the educational bike event. And so I think that's something that's we're actively working on, and there has been some great progress in that as well. So
Yeah, I think later on the agenda, we have a discussion about events, and at that point, it might make more sense. Emily's not able to make it, but I know Emily's been working with Ben, who is here, on that event more specifically.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, what I want to confirm is that out of these three potential goals that we discussed, that we've decided on the Walk, Bike, Roll to School Day event as the goal that we were working toward.
Yeah, and I would say, I would say that's probably where things are. I see a lot of the momentum just kind of almost naturally happening.
Yeah, certainly. Not to be too pedantic, but the event that we're planning is not a walk, bike, and roll to school day per se.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of an informational event to get families to turn out to learn about how they could walk, bike, and roll to school.
Right.
Have there been any conversations about taking that momentum and using it to like actually hold one of these days where we encourage everybody to walk, bike, and roll to school?
Given the last meeting, I was under the impression that our main connection to the school, like the school district, although they would want something like this, they don't have it in like their bandwidth at the moment to do something like a walk, bike, roll to school event. And so I think after this event happens, maybe that's something we can revisit for the fall of 2024. After this first collaboration happens. So I don't think we can, I don't feel like we need to kick it off completely, but I think it's worth keeping around as we kind of build that partnership with the school district.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Or build off. I'm not meaning the partnership probably has it already existed for all I know, but like kind of the current relationship that we have working for this upcoming event.
So, here's a suggestion. What if you mentioned that we might be able to take the momentum from this event in May and hold one of these walk, bike, roll to school events later in the year. There are two dates every year. One I think in May and one I think in October. That are nationwide dates for walk, bike, and roll to school. Do you want to set a goal to hold some sort of event with some or all of the schools on the October date?
Sure, I think that's worth pursuing.
Okay. Then I'm going to flesh this out and turn this into a SMART goal. We can hold ourselves accountable to. So that would be hold a walk, bike, and roll to school day event in October with some NPS schools. How's that sound?
One thing I will say, I mean, even the NPS curriculum part, the more I learn about Safe Routes to School, and then the more, we start collaborating with New Vans Health, like that, I feel like the curriculum And then even just, Christine, if you have any other thoughts, like because I know you have some aspect of the curriculum as well, like the curriculum piece of like bike education. Like I feel like that already exists. It's a matter of like where to put it. Does that make sense? Because New Vans Health is big on wanting to do like safety education. Christine's, I know you've taken some classes, right? Or you've got like a handle on some of that educational component. And then Safe Routes to School, I think they have something. So it's a matter of like, there's these, I'm going to call them assets already in the community. And so there's a matter of like, how do we then utilize these to the best of our potential? And um, so I don't know. So maybe, without having to reinvent the wheel.
So right now, what we're trying to do is to figure out what largely is to check in and see how well we're doing on the goals that we agreed on when we established the strategic plan.
Right.
This bullet point right here is the one exception because it was the one thing we hadn't nailed down yet because it was kind
Okay.
of contingent upon the discussion with Kristen Levesque. But
Sure.
now that we've had that and we've had subsequent discussions, what I'm trying to do is nail down the thing that we're going to hold ourselves accountable to for the rest of
Cool.
the year. So although one of the ideas was to work on curriculum,
Mhm.
if you think that we should hold ourselves accountable to that and make it a priority in 2024, we can put it on here. But
Right.
we already the goal that we set last time was to pick one of those three ideas, and we
Okay.
picked one, and it's the walk, bike, roll to school day.
Sounds like
But
a plan. I like it.
okay, let's move on then. Again, the goal here is not to get into the nitty gritty of everything, but just to keep everybody accountable and check in with where these like how well we're doing on these goals. So the next one
Good.
is Emily and Julia, and Julia is here. If you can report on this, the goal is to post educational material once every 2 weeks, either original content or shared.
Yeah, so I have to also connect with Emily offline. I haven't gotten the chance to. But I have been seeing Emily share some stuff on the Bike Walk Commission's page. But I think this goal is still attainable. I just have to do my part with sharing and making sure that we hit the every 2 week goal, the once every 2 weeks.
Okay, so you're not sure exactly what the rate is right now, but you think that Emily is at least making progress towards it.
Yeah, so I actually like see what she's posting sometimes. And I have been seeing her post um some events or like the educational stuff that's going on in the city. So yeah, I do see her post some stuff, but I have to connect with her offline to figure out some type of schedule.
Okay, then I'm gonna assign that action item to you and Emily to connect with that, to connect
Okay,
about that offline.
perfect.
All right, Manny. The next one is to post a video every quarter, and I think we talked about this last month, and you said that you might be able to have a video to. Well, I think the agreement or the goal was to send it to TMP for their review before this meeting.
Yeah, I haven't done that, but I will say that I do have a rough version that I was going to share with the education subcommittee and with TMP to review and offer feedback. Um, so that's something that I'm actually going to send either tonight or tomorrow morning.
Great. And do you still think this is a reasonable goal to do a video every quarter?
Yeah.
Great. Moving on, one email newsletter for every quarter that's assigned to Emily. I don't think I've seen one this quarter. If somebody knows otherwise, correct me if I'm wrong, but I just looked at my email and I don't see one. Emily's not here. Does anybody have any other info about that? Otherwise, I'll follow up with Emily offline. Okay. Next is publish all educational materials and social media posts in Spanish. That's Emily and Christine. Christine, can you report on that?
Yeah. So I think I will remind Emily about that. I mean, this is a very easy thing to do. I had PD at our school, which means professional development, and that AI chat thing, it's incredible. So you run through, speak in there, and it's flawless. We had a Spanish teacher give the thumbs up on that. But anyway, I'll remind Emily about this, and I'm happy to participate in getting this done for whatever material is put out there.
Okay, thanks. Does anybody know if we've posted any comment? Maybe Julia, do you know if we posted any content in Spanish yet?
Not that I'm aware of. I haven't seen anything on Facebook about that.
And I haven't seen it. Has it been in English? Because I can
No. Just content in general. I feel like we've been reposting mainly events that are going on, but as far as educational materials that have been created and translated, no.
All right.
Thank you, Julia.
Yes.
Quick question. I saw the posting about this meeting tonight. Should we translate that? I think that would be a good idea, no?
We certainly can. I think that
Does that fall under here?
if I were a Spanish only speaker and I saw an advertisement for a meeting in Spanish, I would expect that if I showed up that there would be Spanish translation.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
That's out of scope for right now.
Does the city have that capability of translation during the meeting? Like there is software. Okay, we can move on.
Yeah, that's kind of off topic for right now. But Christine, will you follow up with Emily about Spanish content? Thanks. Moving on, events. Provide bike valet services at 3 events in 2024. Nick.
I haven't really made any tangible progress on these. Do you know off the top of your head the Earth Day date?
It's the Saturday, I think the 27th. Yeah. I can report on that. Emily and I have been to some of their planning meetings, and provided that the racks come in on time, we're lined up to do the bike valet parking at Earth Day. Nick, do you still think that this is a reasonable goal for 2024, especially given that Earth Day is kind of lined up already?
You said 27th, is that?
April.
It's April, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. I think so, yeah.
Did you fill these 3 in? I mean, these are the ones that we've been talking about for a while.
I didn't put them there, no.
Okay, maybe I did.
Can I chime in?
Go ahead, Ben.
We also are talking about doing this at the Open Streets event,
Nice.
which if Earth Day is only the 27th, that'll be like literally the next weekend. So we might be able to knock 2 out in pretty short order.
Okay, I'll add that right here. And we're looking at May 4th for this, right?
Yes.
Okay. Nick, this is probably a good time to resurrect your contacts at Nice Festival and Oyster Festival to start those conversations about bike valet there. Does it now sound like a good time? Can you do that?
Yeah, I think so. I think I'll reach out to them I'll reach out to them shortly.
Okay. I'm gonna make that an AI. Greg, is there anything, do you mind just giving an update now about the event bike racks that we ordered, since we're on that topic?
The guy went silent. I reached out to him again. He said he would ship them out either at the end of this last week or this week. So that was the answer I got from him. So I'll keep following up with him to make sure he shipped them. I did tell him we needed items by mid-April, and he said he should be able to meet that timeline.
Okay. This is cutting it closer than I thought we would, but it sounds like
well, I mean, we put the order in December, so
no, I know. It's on this guy. It's not on you or anybody here.
I think also when we order stuff, we look at quotes. I think we also need to just make sure the company's reputable company and make sure we're getting, we're going to get what we pay for, especially with the shipping and everything, because usually these aren't custom racks either. So
no, but we did not pay ahead of time, right? We haven't paid this.
No, we didn't. No, we have not. But they've received a purchase order, so they're supposed to be processing, which he told me back in December that he was. But again, it's up to him to actually put the order out.
Do you think it would be, I know that if we take this guy at his word that they're going to get here on time, but do you think it would be useful to have somebody else bother him, somebody from the commission, maybe either me or Nick? I mean, Nick was the one who initially made the contact, right?
I mean, I don't know what it's going to do. I mean, I've been pestering him about it, but Nick, if you want to reach out to him, you certainly can.
Yeah, I guess could always just annoy him more.
Yeah,
Well,
just if you do email message him, just put me on it because I don't want him to get confused where it's coming from, thinking that it's a separate order.
Sure thing.
all right, let's move on. The next goal under events is to table at 5 community events. This is also assigned to Nick. Nick, have we done this yet this year? I don't think we have.
We have not yet tabled at an event, no. And I'll try and identify some events specifically. It makes sense to put the bike ballet events as well there, but
Yeah, if we're going to have a table, which I think we reasonably can.
but yeah, I'll put some thought into it.
Great.
You got National Night Out, you gotta have to add there.
Yeah, that's a definite.
Are you guys planning on tabling at Earth Day?
Yeah,
We can add that one as well.
definitely.
Uh, Tanner, I'm sorry, I can't raise my hand while I'm driving. I can't find the button. Can I?
Go ahead, Bill.
Bloomin' Metric with Sound Cyclists is in May. You have a lot of cyclists all in the area, a lot of people from Norwalk that go to that. And their ride leader training is next week, Monday, the 11th. If anybody wants to, I'll be going 6 o'clock at City Hall. You don't have to be a member of Sound Cyclists to go, but you will get some training on ride leader training through the League of American Cyclists. And there are some key people there that if you wanted to set up a table at the Bloomin' Metric where there's thousands of people from Fairfield County that show up, might be a good idea if you're looking for some exposure.
All right, Nick, I'm going to route that idea to you for you to evaluate. I think it's a reasonable idea.
Yeah, Nick, if you want to go with me on Monday, I'll pick you up. It's the 11th at City Hall at 6 o'clock.
You're talking about the ride leader training, Bill?
Yeah, but it's kind of a meet. Everyone from Sound Cyclists kind of goes. That's about the bike life, and you would obviously do ride leader training. It's very simple. It's nothing, fantastic. And you can meet
Well,
some
let's
of the
talk more about this offline, Phil.
Yeah, all right.
Phil, is that at Westport? Is that at Norwalk Town Hall?
Yeah, it's at City Hall.
Okay.
All right, let's keep moving. I don't want to get too behind. The next goal is to host an open street event with at least 500 attendees. I think we're well on our way to that, right, Christine?
Yeah, we've been meeting every Tuesday, so a lot of progress is made, applications in. I mean, I can talk about this in depth or not, but anyway, it's happening on May 4th. So, well, we just have the committee and that meeting is March 13th to get that last approval. So a lot of moving parts to this.
Yeah, if we have time later, there's a item on the agenda about events. So if
Yeah,
we
I
have
won't
time,
be
you can give
on, but
maybe Ben can give a bigger update
yeah,
then.
Ben can.
All right, next, co-host one event in 2024 with a community group that represents an underrepresented population. Christine, this is also yours.
Yeah, other than inviting, making sure we outreach to these groups, the community groups, and invite them to the Open Streets event. I'm not sure beyond that for this year. I don't know what's realistic.
Okay, so you think that we should consider paring this goal down, or do you want to keep working on it?
No, it should be here. We're gonna be, I mean, if that is, yes, leave it.
Okay. Moving on then, accountability. This is my section. Check in once a quarter during backwalk meeting. We're doing that right now. I guess I forgot to point this out earlier. I asked last month, and I will ask again for everybody to go through and annotate the goals that you own with just a quick little plan about how you're going to get there. Maybe it's not very much. Like, for example, this kind of stuff for the bike valet and the community events, this is great. For this one, for checking in once a quarter, I just listed out the months that we're going to do it. Checking in once a year with the mayor and the common council. I have a plan, but just a little summary of how you think you might go about this. It's not committal, and it doesn't mean that you have to have already done it, but just an idea so that we can have a sense of where we're going. So that's an action item for everybody to take a look at the goals that you own and add a little bit of a plan. Anyway, the other two accountability pieces that we have is checking in once a year with the mayor and reporting once a year to the common council. I meant to put this in both. My plan is to do it at this time of year because it's right after the strategic plan is finalized, and so potentially we could get feedback on the strategic plan. But before Bike Month, and last year we had lots of events before Bike Month, and I met with the mayor in the lead up to that, and I think that helped to get some publicity. So I was going to time this, both of these, both the check-in with the mayor and the report to the common council at the same time of year. So that reminds me that that's an action item for me to set up the meeting with the mayor. And a report to the common council. Greg, you might know this because you've been around for a while. We're supposed to report to the common council once a year. That's in our ordinance. I haven't done it since I've been chair, and that's why it's on here, is because we're supposed to do it. Do you know, did we go through a specific committee when we've done this in the past? Do you remember us doing this in the past?
I'd have to look back and see. I believe it would probably be under the ECD committee.
Makes sense.
Would probably go under, since TMP is under that committee.
Okay. Is that Josh Goldstein? Is he the chair?
Yes. Yeah, Josh is, yeah.
Then I'll reach out to Josh to schedule that. Great. Fairfield County Greenway. The goal here is to apply for a grant to conduct planning and design for a section of the East Coast Greenway or Fairfield County Greenway Trail. This is assigned to me and Emily. As we have covered in multiple recent meetings, we gave it the old college try to get this application in by the March 11th deadline for the grant that we had identified, which was the recreational trails grant. We hit enough roadblocks that we weren't able to make that deadline, but my eyes are still peeled for other grant opportunities that we could apply to this year, and we wrote the goal the way we did so that it wasn't necessarily tied to that grant application specifically. But I think it's still a reasonable goal. Admittedly, the recreational trails grant was by far the best fit that I've seen, but I've come across some other grants recently that I'm going to be investigating more, and maybe they will work as well.
Say, Tanner, real quick. I don't know.
Yeah.
You saw the active transportation grant that came out recently.
Yeah, from Honda.
Yes.
Yeah, that looks interesting. I don't think it's a good fit for this one because there's a cap of 5,000. It's
No, I'm not saying for I'm not saying for this one. I'm just saying for another grant that
yes,
could go after for this year.
Yeah,
instead
certainly.
of the recreational trails grant.
Yeah, I suppose that would have been a good thing to put on the agenda today. I didn't think to do that.
Well, it did. It was announced on Friday, so.
Okay.
So
well, they sent out a survey about it a few weeks ago saying, "Hey, we're probably going to do this." Anyway, yeah, we should discuss it at some point. Maybe if we have some time at the end. I don't know that we will, but if we do this month, then maybe we can discuss it then. Otherwise, we should definitely discuss it next month. Moving on, bike share. Develop the first draft proposal with Doc bike share vendor and bring it to city officials. I own this one, and I can't say that I've made any progress, but I still think that it's a good goal for 2024. I did have a conversation with a local startup that might be interested in working on this, but I don't have many details there. Point is that it's still moving, and I think we should keep it. Last one is League of American Bicyclists. Improve upon the 2023 Bike Friendly Communities Award. As you may recall, we were honored with an honorable mention, which means the improvement would be to get to bronze. I did a little bit of research after the last meeting. The deadline for this year is sooner than it's earlier in the year than it was last year. Last year it was in October, I think. This year it's in June, which means that we should start working like now to do this. Tanner and Christine go ahead.
Oh no, Tanner, I was just gonna say, are you guys, is that something that you're really looking to do in June, is having the city submit again?
Unless you can convince us otherwise.
Well, I'm just saying because June is tight because we're in the middle of construction season at that time.
Okay.
Striping more bike lanes, putting in more sidewalks. So a lot of things aren't done yet. So how much is our application changing? We're not really making a marginal change in the application based on when we submitted last September to June now, from an infrastructure perspective.
It's a fair point. I think that we should at least examine that and see what the delta would be. We are making progress at a pretty quick rate, so I think there's a good chance that it could be worth submitting.
Yeah. No, I just, we just don't want to, and obviously we want to make sure we make a marginal change. We don't want to get the same ranking that we got this year.
Well, if Complete Streets is done by then, or even if it's mostly done, I think that already represents a big change.
I mean, we can talk about it more offline, but we just want to make sure that we're actually going to have a marginal change on our, we can't just put our hat on Complete Streets to give us a better ranking.
Well, yeah, I'm not going to necessarily submit only if I know that we're going to get a better rating. Like this is the way I see that this is like taking a temperature, right?
Yeah.
So, but I'm happy to talk to you more offline.
Okay.
Is Christine still with us, or did she have to drop? All right. The last goal is to get one more LEED certified instructor. That belongs to Emily and Christine. And neither of them are here, so I don't know what the status on that one is. But those are our goals for 2024. Any quick questions? We are on schedule, so I can take a question if anybody has a question. All right. Now we have 10 minutes for Greg to give us a recap of the Hospital Hill informational meeting.
Yeah, so last week, for those, I know Tanner, you and Ben were in attendance, but we hosted the Hospital Hill public information meeting.
I think Nick Peppis was there too.
I didn't see Nick there. I didn't know. I didn't realize he wasn't there.
Or no.
No, I could have sworn I saw you there. Okay, I stand corrected.
At any rate, so we hosted the public information meeting for the Hospital Hill Safe Improvement Project. For those who don't know, we have a dedicated project website where we're looking at intersection improvements at the intersection of Stewart at Stevens, and then also Stevens at Magnolia, dedicated project page, along with the concept that's online as well. For those who weren't able to attend, we've kept the open comment period open till March 15th. So you can still submit public comment on the concept plan as shown here. You can send it into the email that's provided on the dedicated project webpage. So we'll look to, continue obviously to take all those comments. A couple weeks before the public information meeting, we also had a stakeholder meeting as well with a lot of the business owners and property owners, along that multi-use building right there. So we met with them, heard their thoughts as well, heard from the public now, and then we'll also, obviously look to hear more from the public through the email. And then what we'll do is we'll take the concept plan, look through the comments and analyze the comments, and then look to incorporate those comments into the 30% design plan. And from there, we'll continue to advance the plan all the way through to final design. Obviously, the public comment was very important to hear from the community and hear back from what people had to say on the concept, and and we'll look to move this forward. As you probably heard in the past, we were pretty aggressively advancing this design. We're looking to finalize the design sometime in the late spring, summertime, and looking to begin construction by the fall of 2024. So we'll be looking to move pretty quickly. We've also worked with the Eversource Gas Company, as they're going to be doing some underground utility work in the area that was already planned. So we worked with them, we coordinated with them to begin doing their gas work sometime in Q2 of 2024, which is big. So they'll be able to go in, do what they have to do, and then directly after that, we will be able to come in and do the final construction, which we're very excited about. Obviously, this is a very problematic area here with a lot of existing asphalt, and trying to define travel lanes and just create more pedestrian accessibility to the businesses, and continuing the improvements that are planned as part of the $220 million hospital improvement that was approved last year as well. So Stephen Street will be when it's all said and done, will be a continuous corridor with plenty of pedestrian accessibility. And also with other streetscape amenities as well, which we're very looking forward to, such as street trees, more grass areas, pedestrian level lighting, maybe some bioswales. We're very excited to be moving this project as fast forward as we are right now. So we're looking forward to continuing this, and always looking to hear more from the public as well. So till March 15th, we'll be taking online submitted comments through email. Do we have any questions?
I was muted. Judd, I want to recognize that Judd has arrived. Welcome, Judd. Judd, we had some background noise. If you're not speaking, if you wouldn't mind muting. But also, if you have comment, we'd be glad to hear comment from you.
Tanner, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. I thought I was muted. I'm driving. I'll pull over and mute in a minute. But no, I don't have any comments at the moment. So.
All right. Well, thanks for joining.
Yeah.
I want to reiterate what Greg said about the public comment. It's open until March 15th, which is a week and a half still. I'm sharing my screen, right?
Yep.
The project page is on TMP's website. You can find it at the bottom here, Hospital Hill Village District Safety Enhancement Project. You can review the plans here. These are the same plans that were presented on Monday. And then the email address is just Norwalk TMP at the city's website, and that's here at the bottom of the page. So I would encourage anybody who, especially if you weren't able to attend the meeting a week ago, to please take a look and send in your feedback, especially feedback on things related to biking and walking, since that is our remit. Any questions for Greg about the process? Alrighty. Greg, any last comments before we move on?
Nope.
All right. Then let's keep rolling. We've got a bike rack update.
Yes. So we had talked about the valet bike racks already, so we're hopeful to get those. He said they were supposed to ship out in the last week, so I'll follow up with them this week again. And then Nick, if you want to reach out as well, but I'll make sure those are, we keep following up, make sure they're delivered. On the city's end, we've also just recently put out a purchase order for bike racks, the hoop style bike racks. So we ordered a dozen of them. So we ordered a half a dozen of the hoop style racks with the Bike Norwalk logo on it. So we'll be getting those in to put around various spots. I know we had, those are, we'll put them in the locations based on what we were planning on from the round that was from a couple of years ago that we were looking to put bike racks in. So those are on order right now. So as soon as we get them, we will install them. So they'll be ready to go for the, hopefully by mid-spring or so, we should have them all in and installed. So we're just so that purchase order already went out, and then then we're also going to be working with putting in some racks as well on the Main Street lot as well.
Finally.
Well, yeah, and then also in front of the police department as well, where we were eyeing some of those from a couple of years ago. And then we'll have some extra ones, so we'll look to maybe put some on like Washington Street, some of the single hoop style racks along Washington Street as well.
Gotcha.
Those will kind of be the locations.
forgive me if you mentioned this already. Did you mention the number of hoop racks that are included in this order?
So we ordered 12.
12. Okay.
12.
So you're imagining maybe on the order of 4 at the Main Street lot, 4 at the police department, and then 4 elsewhere?
Yeah, that seems, yeah, about right. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Any questions about the bike racks?
Yeah,
Go ahead,
Greg,
Nick.
on the valet bike racks, did the vendor mention anything about providing tracking information or shipment tracking information?
He did not. So that was one thing I wanted to follow up with him on. Was when he ships them to please provide me any of the shipping because it's supposed to be shipped to City Hall. So we should be receiving them. So I will follow back up with him and make sure he provides the tracking information once it's shipped.
All right, great, thank you.
Greg, before this is the last item on the agenda that is from you. So this concludes the TMP update section, but I am remembering that I rode by the NRVT bridge and saw that there were no barriers up anymore. Can you comment on that?
Well, so we are having a press conference on Wednesday of this week. And during the press conference will, so that's going to be on Wednesday at 10:30. So we obviously invite everybody to come and, we ask walk, ride your bike, because it's actually going to be on the actual boardwalk itself, the press conference on Wednesday.
So that's great news. So it's open. I was trying to give you the opportunity to give us the big news.
Well, the big news is it's press conference too, so we want all of you to attend and ride your bikes and be able to ride your bike on the NRVT.
Awesome.
As you know, there's not a lot of parking in that subsequent area because the press conference is going to be right near the intersection at Riverside at New Canaan Avenue. So not much parking over there, so you have to utilize the trail to get there.
Yeah. Will you be riding your bike there, Greg?
I'm not riding my bike to work, so no, I won't have my bike with me.
Well, I will definitely be there with my bike, or at least I'm pretty sure that my schedule will allow me to be there. I'm going to share my screen just to make it unambiguous for everybody, so you can see where we're talking about. This is on the north side of Riverside Cemetery at the intersection of Riverside Ave and New Canaan Ave, and I don't know if it's on satellite. It looks like it's not yet on satellite, but right here, there is the boardwalk, the bridge is finally open. So please, if your schedule will allow it, please come on Wednesday. You said 10:30 it starts?
Wednesday at 10:30, yep.
I think I had 10 on my calendar. Did they move it or am I mistaken?
So I have it on my calendar at 10:30.
All right, yours is probably right. Oh, mine is 10:30. Okay, I just remembered wrong. Great. Well, I will see you at 10:30 then on Wednesday.
Right. We'll all be there.
Does anybody else, especially commissioners, know right now that they'll be able to make it? All right, I know it's right in the middle of the workday, which is tough, but if anybody is able to, that would be great. Some more representation and some more bikes there would be great. Moving on. Oh, thank you, Greg, for TMP updates. Our next item is bike-friendly communities, which Christine asked for, but Christine is no longer with us, or at least, sorry, Christine is no longer on the call. She is definitely with us among the living. And I don't know exactly what you want to bring up. Last month, go ahead.
No, Tanner, so she had emailed me about, so obviously we had highlighted the ranking that we got, but she wanted to also talk about the outreach to let everybody know, to let the public know about the ranking. I know we had done a social media post, but I was going to kind of let her take the lead on what she wanted to actually talk about specifically as far as more outreach was concerned as part of the ranking.
Gotcha. Well, I can talk a little bit about that. As you said, the city put it on their social media, which was great. It was also covered in the Norwalk Hour, I believe. I think as a result of us discussing it in this meeting, I think their reporting was basically listening to our meeting, which is cool. I emailed Michelle from the city about doing a press release, and she said she would discuss it with the team. So I imagine that team included TMP. I followed up with her a couple of times and never got a response. Greg, do you know if she contacted TMP at all?
I'm not sure if she contacted. I'm not sure. She didn't contact me directly about it, so I can't speak to it.
Gotcha. Well, Christine, if you're watching this later, I gave it a shot. I'll follow up with Michelle one more time. I think it would be nice to get it in the paper, but maybe Michelle thinks that because I mean this is just conjecture, but maybe since it was already covered to some degree in the paper that it's less important now. In any event, I'll touch base one more time with Michelle and see if I can get a straight answer. Any other thoughts or ideas about public messaging, public relations around the bike-friendly communities honorable mention? All right. Moving on, our next item is from Manny. It's an update from the Education Subcommittee.
So one of the big things that is happening, and I wish Christine was here as well as Emily, but we're definitely moving towards that May 4th event, and now that we've solidified a date and that we're able to collaborate with the Open Streets event for that, we're now getting to some of the other nitty-gritty related to who's going to be there, what will they be doing, what will we be providing as programming for the in conjunction with the Open Streets event. So I think that's kind of where a lot of the excitement is right now.
So, Manny, just to be absolutely clear, should we? I feel like we should point out that the Open Street event was going to be later in May, and then Norwalk Public Schools had this event about walk, bike, and roll to school that was going to be on Saturday, May 4th, and we have decided so far, seems successfully, to merge the two events to
absolutely
join forces with NPS, which I think is a huge win. So I just wanted to call that out as a win in and of itself.
I think it's huge. I think there's a lot of people excited about it, and so I think right now the energy is really good. And then kind of the prepping process of it all. So I feel like that's the huge update on the educational side.
Ben, do you have any other updates that you feel like would be worth giving to the commission about the event planning itself? I know you've been taking point on this.
On Open Streets?
Yeah.
Nothing too much. I think the big thing is that we submitted the e-approval application yesterday. So that will now start, working its way through the city departments to get the special permit application. And we are looking to get on the Recreation and Parks and Cultural Affairs Subcommittee agenda for next Wednesday, the 13th, I believe, to basically get approval from that subcommittee, and then it will move on to the Common Council. We will also need to be going to the Traffic Authority meeting this month.
Gotcha. Have you started the conversation with somebody from TMP about getting on that agenda?
I haven't. That would be a good next step now that we've got the approval application submitted.
Greg, is that still Garrett who does that, or is it Kyle or somebody else?
So I would email Kyle and also put Garrett on there as well.
Okay.
You
we'll
can
do.
send it directly to Kyle and CC Garrett.
Sounds good.
I am pleased to report, I haven't brought this up in a bike walk meeting before, but I've discussed it with several people. For a while, the Traffic Authority webpage on the city website did not list the new member of the Police Commission. Some of you may know that the Traffic Authority and the Police Commission are one and the same. The Traffic Authority is a legal entity that exists under state law, and in Norwalk, it's defined as the Police Commission, which was recently expanded from 3 to 5 members, and Nate Sumter was recently appointed to fill one of those vacancies. For a while, it looked like the Traffic Authority didn't reflect that update, but it does now. And so the Traffic Authority now has 4 members and not 3, and there's a vacancy for a 5th member. All right. Manny, do you have any other updates on the education front?
No, I think, the last conversation we had in our subcommittee meeting was also around the education piece, and just, I kind of talked about it earlier as well, the video point, we're trying to get through the like the first phase of I got some revisions on the script, and now I've compiled something, so I'm gonna try to get some feedback from the rest of the subcommittee and the TMP, and I think that's one of the key points that I remember. I was a part of in discussing with the subcommittee. Julie, is there anything else that I'm missing from the meeting that we had on Friday?
Not that I can think of, Manny. I think you covered the stuff that was most important.
Thank you.
Just by way of anecdote, I was talking to Emily last week, and she, out of the blue, with no prompting, mentioned that she felt like the education subcommittee work was coming along great, and there's a lot of momentum. So, good work to you guys for creating that momentum.
Thank you.
Given that that is all we have for education, we'll move on to the events discussion. Greg, did you put this on the agenda? It was assigned to everybody. I think Greg maybe had.
Yeah, no, I'm here. Sorry. No, I just had a question. Just wanted to bring up because we hadn't talked about any specific events. I know we had it on the strategic plan, but there was nothing specific as far as what events were going on. Like the open street, I knew nothing about the date. I didn't know anything about it. So just wanted to have a discussion about the events and make sure everybody was on the same page.
Gotcha. Well, are there any open questions from you about the Calf Pasture Beach event?
No, it was just more just for everybody on the commission to, because we had the, we had on the strategic plan the events that we're partaking in, but nothing specific as far as, for Bike to Work Week. Like, is there anything planned for Bike to Work Week? Bike roll to school day, is there anything, obviously we had that discussion already, but
yeah,
I just wasn't aware of any. So I just wanted to put it on the agenda for everybody to discuss. It was
Gotcha.
a little bit of a light agenda. So I wanted to, make sure we kept the discussion going on things and nothing got overlooked.
Gotcha.
Because it's March and spring's right around the corner and.
Sure. So, Nick, can I invite you to lead this discussion because you're the owner of the events related, or at least a large number of the events related goals on the strategic plan?
Sure. Well, I think like I mentioned earlier, not too much tangible progress in terms of the events that we'd identified for valet bike racks other than the Calf Pasture Beach open street event. I think we've kind of touched upon the progress that we've made on that in terms of like settling on the date of May 4th, having collaboration with Norwalk Public Schools. I know Christine's also been working on collaborating with Norwalk Hospital, and Ben's also submitted the approval applications through the city. So really that's where a lot of our attention has been focused on. It's as we've kind of been hinting at with that 500 attendee goal, we're planning on making this a really big event in general when compared to what we did last year. I guess since it's the most timely of the events, you'd mentioned that you'd started some conversations with the Earth Day Planning Committee.
Yeah,
are there highlights you want to share about that?
Sure. As mentioned, it's on April 27th. That's a Saturday. It's going to be in the afternoon from noon to 4. This event has run a couple times already in the last couple of years, and a lot of the elements will be the same. I think they're trying to be a little bit bigger in scope this time, but most specifically as it relates to walking and biking, we are going to be doing the walking and biking tours that lead to the green before the event or kind of to begin the event, just like we have in past years. And Emily and I are taking on the work to organize those. I think I'm not sure how far along these are in the planning, but the ideas that we have are at the very least to redo what we did last year, which includes a walk from Wall Street. I think Jim Travers has led that walk in both previous years. We also had a walk from City Hall. And last year we had 3 different bike rides one starting from Sono, one starting from East Norwalk, and one starting up kind of northwest of Wall Street and coming down the NRVT. So we're going to try and do those again. Like in past years, the goal is to get as many people to the green for the event without a car as possible, in part because there's not a lot of parking around there, and also in part because these are more earth-friendly transportation modes. In the past, we've also had some participation from the transit district, but I would like to see more participation from the district, not necessarily from district leadership, but like better messaging around how to get to the event on the bus. So I'm working on that. One thing that I'm kind of coordinating is a proper website. In the past, the event has not had its own site. It's had pages on different organizations' sites, but I'm kind of coordinating the creation of a new standalone website that will have detailed information about how to take the bus to the event and also information about these different guided walks and rides. So I guess I'll put out an invite right now. If anybody is interested in leading one of these rides, and potentially also leading a walk, although I'm not sure whether we already have the walk leaders nailed down or not, but we definitely don't have the ride leaders nailed down. So if you're interested in leading one of these bike rides, especially if you have kind of a network in your neighborhood and can invite and turn people out to ride together from that neighborhood to the green for the event, that would be awesome. So feel free to contact me if that sounds like you. We've talked about having the event bike racks there for valet parking. We've talked about having a table from the Bike Walk Commission and a table from Sustainable Streets and a table from the Bicycle Co-op. I think Phil had to drop, but I think we're in contact with Phil about having bike repair there on behalf of the co-op like we have in past years. Yeah, does that answer your question, Nick?
I think so, yeah. Now, a little more general, but perhaps it's worthwhile to maybe not right here, right now, but look at all the events we participated in 2023 and list them out to see if we wanted to redo those events in 2024 and maybe put them somewhere on the strategic plan page.
I think that's a great idea. Do you want to do that? Can you take that on as like an asynchronous task, or do you want to like I'd be happy to meet with you and do that together if you want. How do you want to go about that?
I can go about it by myself, and we
Okay,
can just align on it afterwards once I'm ready to review.
cool. You're thinking almost like that doesn't have to be long necessarily, but kind of a 2024 event plan.
Right, exactly. And just the fact that like Greg brought up events discussion, it kind of got me the idea of it would be kind of worthwhile to have like a 2024 event calendar and know what is in store for us rather than we see something and decide to kind of hastily plan an event around it. And basing it on the events of last year gives us a better idea of what we took on last year and if we can do that again this year.
Sure. Okay. Then I'll assign that action item to you to draft this 2024 event plan. I think it'll help us to also know what we need to do in advance. Like for example, we haven't ever tabled at the Nice Festival or the Oyster Festival before, but if we want to do bike valet there, then we'll need to start those conversations. But when we start the conversation, we could also start the conversation about tabling there.
Yeah, agreed.
Great. I feel like I had another thought. Any other thoughts about events? All right. That's everything we have scheduled on the agenda. I know, Greg, you mentioned that it was a little bit of a lighter agenda, which is true, but given how often we've gone over time, I'm comfortable giving people a little bit of time back. I did mention earlier that if we had time, we would come back and talk about this new grant that Condot is offering. So I think we could take a couple minutes to do that. Greg, do you have the info on that pulled up, or shall I pull it up?
I don't have it in front of me right now, but if you want to, I think it's pretty easy to find if you want to pull it up.
I think I have just found it. Okay, yes, here it is. Okay, Condot has officially announced their Active Transportation Micro Grants program. The program is intended for non-infrastructure projects up to $5,000 that support walking, biking, and rolling in Connecticut. I apologize that I'm not going to get Kristen's last name correct. I think it is Hungarian. Hadistilianos. That's my best guess. Please send completed applications to Kristen Hadistilianos at Westcog by Tuesday, March 26th, which I guess is about 3 weeks away. Application program guidelines are attached. Let's pull it up. That's the application. If I remember right, the point here is to, oh, here it is, program guidelines. So it's to acquire like materials, including items that include one or more of the following: bike helmets, bike locks, bike maintenance training and materials, bicycle fleets, LCI training. That might be most relevant for the commission since we have set a goal to get a new LCI. Programs, events, and materials for pedestrian and bicycle safety education, safety vests for pedestrians. Like I mentioned earlier, the Condot sent out a survey about a month ago that I filled out on behalf of the commission, and they were asking like, would you use this grant? What would you use it for? What else might you use it for besides what's listed here? One idea that came to mind that I would like to see, I don't know if the commission is well poised to do this, maybe the library would be better, but I've heard in some communities that an organization like the library, or sometimes it's a nonprofit, will own a cargo bike and they'll lease it out for people to use because for a lot of people, a cargo bike is kind of like a pickup truck. Like it's the kind of thing that you don't need most of the time, but every once in a while you really do need it. And so it works kind of well in this lending library function. So I thought that would be cool. 5,000 does get you a cargo bike with all the capabilities that you would need to, like move big items. So, but that's just an idea. And like I said, I'm not sure the Bike Walk Commission is necessarily well positioned to execute on that idea. But yeah, I think this is a cool opportunity. It sounds like most of the stuff that our commission already spends our city budget on would also qualify pretty well for this grant. So potentially, if we wanted to augment our budget, we could use this grant. In particular, I'm thinking about swag because we just talked about events. And we've done a really good job recently at handing out swag, and I'm not actually sure what our swag levels are. I know that we have lots of headlights and taillights, and we voted to purchase the complete sets of headlights and taillights from sorry, it's been a long day, Smart Cycles. And I'm gonna assign an action item to myself for that because I need to act on that. But other things, like I think we're out of t-shirts, I think we're out of helmets, that kind of stuff. Is anybody more familiar than me about this? Maybe Nick?
I just know that we gave them out the Norwalk night out. It's not like I have an inventory.
Gotcha. I actually have the tablecloth here. The Bike Norwalk tablecloth I have here in my office. So I know we have that, but I'm not sure about anything else. So potentially this could be something useful. I don't know what the date is for disbursement. I don't know. Nick, what are your thoughts about swag and events and potentially asking for more money?
I like the idea. I mean, I know that we'll have like lights, but I think when tabling at events, it's important to have a table with things to give out or just things that will pique people's interests. Like empty tables don't really encourage people to come by. So yeah, I like the idea of allocating into more like swag and educational literature type items.
Because this grant, the application is due before our next meeting. So we'd have to act on this. Like if we're going to act on this, we should make some assignments right now. I'm happy to help, but I would love for somebody else to drive this. And I think that because you own the events goals, it might make most sense for you to drive this. What do you think about driving it?
I think it does make the most sense.
Would you be willing to? Do you have time in the next 3 weeks to devote to this?
Can I get back to you by the end of the week? I still don't know what I don't know in terms of what this actually entails.
Sure. Then can I at least assign you an action item to read through the entire materials and make a decision?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Thoughts from other commissioners or members of the public about applying for this grant and how we might use the money?
I do like the just buying more stuff for the year. Even though I do think the cargo bike idea is pretty innovative, actually, but mainly because I know, if we're trying to keep up with the same amount of events as last year, and then with this upcoming, you know, bike and open street event, I feel like if we really want to get, more stuff for that, I think that'd be really helpful. And maybe that gives us a little bit of freedom to allocate extra city budget that we have for other things. So I'm for it.
Great. I'll go ahead and forward this info then to you, Nick. And Manny, if you're interested, do you want me to forward this to you as well?
Sure, I'll take a look.
Great. Other thoughts about this, or really other thoughts about anything before we maybe give people some time back? I noticed that Carly was on the call earlier, but it looks like she dropped. It reminded me that I should probably report that I think last month Carly came in and talked about a grant that they were applying for streetscape improvements around the South Norwalk train station and invited us to write a letter of support, and I did so. So I can report back on that, but there's not much more to say there. Yeah, I'll entertain other questions or a motion to adjourn.
I'd like to bring up an email that we got sent to the Bike Walk Commission, I guess through the norwalkct.gov service from citizen Linnell Jones. I'm not sure if you took a look at it, but it was basically mentioning how in the Northeast Volleyball Center on 365 Dr. Martin Luther King Highway, cars will oftentimes at night park on the sidewalk, and they wanted to know if this was allowed, which obviously it's not. And two, what a citizen should do, who should they call when multiple cars are parked on sidewalks and bikes are not allowed on streets. I'm thinking of the best way to kind of answer this concern. I don't know if there's a more formal way or if just replying to the email that's listed in this request is appropriate.
Thanks for bringing this up, Nick. You're entirely correct that parking on the sidewalk is illegal. It's a topic that's come up before in our meetings. The first thing, just for the general information of everybody on the call, the first thing you can do is that you can report it to the Norwalk Police Department. And I have filed many notices, and some of them have been acted upon. A lot of them have not. In the longer term, personally, I would like to see responsibility for parking enforcement be shifted to the parking authority over the police department, or at least that we should have a public conversation about that, about how we can have more reliable parking enforcement.
Tanner?
Yeah, go ahead, Jed.
Yeah, the parking authority only tickets in areas that we manage, which are areas that we charge for parking. So
Yes.
outside of that, it's the police.
Correct. I understand that, and that I'm saying that I would like to explore changing that.
Oh, okay. Okay, I see. All right.
In the long term, but in the short term, yes. So currently, it is the remit of the police department to enforce parking on sidewalks like this. So, Nick, to answer your question, I think that one of us should absolutely respond. I think because I have kind of made the sidewalk parking my issue in the past, I'm happy to do it, unless somebody else wants to take this on and respond to Ms. Jones. All right, hearing nothing, then I'll take that as an action item.
Was anybody able to respond since Nick brought that one up? Did anybody else respond to Michael Smeets from Larchmont, I can't say that city, Mamaroneck, New York?
I don't even know how to pronounce that. Is it Mamaroneck or Mamaroneck?
Yeah, you said it right.
Mamaroneck.
Yes, I did see this. I hadn't seen Linnell Jones's, but I did see this one, and I hadn't gotten around to responding to it. I can respond to this one as well. For those of you out of the loop, we got an email from Michael Smeets in Larchmont, Mamaroneck, who is leading an effort to get more bike lanes in that area, and they're working on getting a Safe Streets grant to design a comprehensive ped bike plan, which I think is commendable. So mostly it looks like Michael wanted to connect and chat. So I think it would make sense for me to do that as well, unless somebody else wants to chat with Michael Smeets. All right.
So one thing real quick. So you're saying these emails came into the Norwalk Bike Walk email they came in?
Yes and no. They did not come into norwalkbikewalk@gmail.com. I think they came through the email, the commission link on the city's commission boards and commissions website. I'll show you. I'll just pull up what the message looks like.
Oh, okay. No, so for future, and if anybody does reach out, especially for anything related to the city is concerned, they could also submit a customer service ticket as well online.
Yeah, I'm aware of that. I definitely agree that everybody here should be aware of that.
Just so we have a record of it internally in the city.
I mean, Greg, do you want a record of stuff like this? Like if people are reaching out to kind of contact other addicts?
Not so much that, but I mean, just for anything service related to the city's concerned, customer service related.
Okay, so maybe this one from Ms. Jones. Jones, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I would recommend that she do a customer service ticket.
Yeah, okay. I'll include that when I respond to her. I'll encourage her to do so. Or would it be easier if I just forward this email to customer service?
Well, I mean, either way, I mean, so when she reaches out, obviously the Bike Walk Commission, I don't know why she's emailing it through the Bike Walk Commission, but if she emails customer service, at least city has a record of it and something, we can look into it and do about it if there's signage, which it looks like she says there's no signage there. So maybe we can, in the short term, put signage up in the interim to make sure people aren't parking on the sidewalk. But we can't, until we have a ticket on it and it's, put into the system, we'll need that submitted.
Okay. Well, I'll talk to her first, and then I'll see whether she's interested in submitting it herself or if I can just forward it along to customer service. But one way or the other, I'll make sure it gets in the system.
Mm-hmm.
So for future reference, is it appropriate for commissioners to just reply to these emails from our personal emails and maybe copy other commissioners on the correspondence?
I think that sounds great. I mean, anything is better than them not getting acted on.
Yeah, I mean, but I would just direct them to the customer service page and have them directly put a ticket in if it's relating something to like signage or something they identified that they want to bring to the city's attention.
Thank you.
Yeah, +1 to what Greg said, but I think also if somebody emails us, that's an indication that potentially that's somebody who might be willing to get involved in one way or another. And so I think engaging on a personal level, over and above just directing them to customer service is worthwhile. So Nick, yeah, for future reference, if somebody gets one of these emails and they feel like they know all the details they need to know to respond, I think they absolutely should, and they should CC at least the chair and other members of the commission that are particularly either knowledgeable or concerned with the issues that are being raised, and that way, or maybe I don't know. I'd say just if you CC everybody, that might be clearer. That way, everybody knows that it's been responded to, and we don't duplicate work. Is everybody cool with that?
Sounds good to me.
Great. Thank you for bringing those emails up. Are there others that I missed that somebody knows of?
Those are the only two I've seen.
Okay. Then I will entertain other topics or a motion to adjourn.
I'll do a motion to adjourn.
All right, Manny. Manny moves to adjourn. Do we have a second? Nick, actually, you know what? I'm going to go really quick. Go ahead, Judd.
No, I'll second it. That's fine.
Oh, well, before we adjourn, I did want to give one more chance. We have 2 members of the public who have stuck with us for the entire meeting. I was going to give them one more chance if they have any comment or if they just want to introduce themselves.
By all means.
Then that's A-okay. Oh, we have a hand from George. Go ahead, George.
Hi, all. This is my first time joining the Bike Commission. I sent an email like last week and was invited by, I don't remember whose name it was at the top of my head. I think it was Emily. Yeah. So anyway, I was just curious to join and say hello. And yeah, that's all.
Awesome. Are you interested in walking or biking in particular? And do you live in Norwalk?
Yes, I live the Sono 1 apartment complex, which is right next to the South Norwalk train station. So yeah,
Awesome.
I have the only bike that is currently in the building's bike rack right now. So yeah.
Oh, way to go.
Definitely interested in, I come from Boston, so a lot of biking around those neighborhoods and was just trying to get a sense for what we have here in Norwalk.
Awesome. Well, thanks for attending, and I hope that you continue to attend. Or if you are looking for ways to get involved, I would be happy to help you find them. Do you have my contact information somehow? Do you have Emily's contact information?
I do have Emily's email address, yes.
All right. If you're interested in connecting more, I'd be happy to meet with you and bring you up to speed on everything that's going on. And if you're interested in that, feel free to reach out to Emily and get my contact info.
Sounds good. Will do. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. All right. Any other comments or introductions from the public? All right. With that, I will cease to veto motions to adjourn. I think we had a motion from Manny, and Nick and Judd both seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, I think that's everybody. Thanks everyone for joining. Thanks George for joining as well, first timer, and we will see you all next month. I think on April 1st. That's not a joke. That's our real meeting day. So I'll see you then.
Thank you.
Have a good night.